Hi, everyone, and welcome to our, I think this is our 5th edition of the ServiceNow Tips and Tricks webinars. Thanks for joining us today. This is our special Halloween edition, except for that's the only Halloween mention that we'll have today. But
right off the bat. Hold on just 1 second. There we go.
There we go. Okay, so I'm Anita Collins. I'm with the ServiceNow engagement team. And here with us again is Rebecca Jones from the Connect Carolina Change Management team, although she's an honorary ServiceNow member at this point. We also have a special guest today. So we have Casey Nordell here from the School of Medicine. He's a tech support analyst there, and he has been instrumental in getting some reports ready for us. So we're excited to have him here today and help us do these reports justice. Also here is Allison Campbell, and she's with the ServiceNow engagement team. You guys know her by now. Becky Arnold was going to join, but she's actually not here today. So we'll go ahead and get started. So our agenda today is to talk about some reports that a new reporting team has developed and put together for us. When we announced this, we only had 4, but now we have, what is it? 9 reports. So bonus for everybody.
Hot off the press.
Yes, hot off the presses. So we'll talk about those reports, and Rebecca will talk a little bit about how to add them to a dashboard and other reporting things. We also want to talk about the new Delegate function. So this is kind of cool because when you're out of the office, you can delegate your work in ServiceNow to someone else so you don't lose track. And then we'll, as usual, we'll have some time for Q&A. So if you think of questions as you go along, go ahead and type them in the chat window or the questions window, and we'll try to keep an eye out. And if they're about what we're talking about currently, we'll go ahead and answer them. And if they're just a general ServiceNow question, we'll handle those at the end. But please go ahead and type them as you think of them so we don't lose track. So again, this is about 35 minutes of content today, so could go longer if you guys have lots of questions, which we hope you do. As usual, this webinar is being recorded, and the recording will be available on the servicenow.sites.unc.edu website. And as I just mentioned, please use the Q&A or chat box to ask questions, and we'll keep an eye out for those. Don't miss out on the ServiceNow team. So we have at least a couple of hundred members, I think, now at this point. 300. Almost 300. Awesome. So it's a place where you can go and post questions, and the team answers them, but also other people who are using ServiceNow will answer those questions as well. So it's a good place to ask questions and give feedback, and we do monitor it constantly. Oh, by the way, and here's a quick way to join it is if you're not a member already, just type go.unc.edu/ServiceNow Team into your browser, and it'll basically enrolls you right then just by typing in that URL. All right, just again, I mentioned the ServiceNow.sites.unc.edu website. So this website, we're currently reworking it to be more post-go live, easier to find recorded training and other resources for you. So it's a little bit of a work in progress right now, but keep an eye out, and would love to hear any suggestions that you have for that website. I want to give a special shout out to the reporting team. So this is kind of neat that people from across campus have people who were pretty heavily involved in creating their own reports, like Casey, as we mentioned. So he's a heavy reporting user. Got together and are volunteering their time to help create some standard reports that everyone can benefit from. So you don't have to use these reports, but you can use them as is. They'll save you some time, or you can use them as a starting point for building your own reports. So I just want to give a special shout out to Marcus Wooten, Joey Ware-Furlow, Ann Vale, Casey, as we mentioned already, Elizabeth Mumpower, Patrick Kiernan, Jason Cross, Michelle Clayton, and of course Riaz Ahmed from the ServiceNow team, who is leading that effort. So thanks to all of you for helping us move the reporting effort forward. Okay, so at this point I'm going to turn it over to Rebecca, who's going to talk about these new reports.
Thanks, Anita. So good morning, everyone. Before we get into demoing these reports, I just wanted to do a quick overview of the 9 of them. And a couple of the reports might actually look familiar to you, but some other features were added to it. So we're considering them new again, I guess, renewed. So on this screen right here, I'm showing 5 reports. We have active work, unassigned work, priority levels of active work, and workload of group members, and work open versus work closed last 2 months. So have those 5 reports showing at the moment. They look that way altogether because they were all put on one dashboard, which you can do, and I'll show you how to do that in just a little bit. So first, the active work report. This will show all open tickets assigned to all of the groups that you belong to. And I keep looking over at Casey to make sure I don't say anything wrong. So Casey, feel free to chime in anytime. The next one is the unassigned work of my groups, and this will show the number of tickets not assigned to an individual in your groups. Currently, in this screenshot, you'll see 1 in the color red. If it's at 0, 0 will be black, but anything above that, the color will turn red. Next one, the priority levels of active work. This will show the priority level of your group's active work, and this is assigned and unassigned. Workload of group members. This shows the open tickets assigned to people in your groups. And work open versus work closed last 2 months. This shows open and closed work trends during the last 2 months. When I get into the demo portion of this, I'll show you how you can actually click on these different reports and it'll bring you up the ticket list. And there's ways you can filter these graphs and charts, and it's really cool. So we'll get to that in just a second, but I have 4 more reports to show you. Oh, actually, I forgot I made this. Just looking at the work open versus work closed in the last 2 months, this is a screenshot of my team, and we don't have a high volume of tickets coming in, but looking at the work open versus work closed, this is a screenshot of somebody else's who has a high volume. So it could look a lot more interesting and involved than the one that I have behind it. So I just wanted to kind of show you what yours could look like. But moving along, we also have the work last updated of my groups. This shows active work based on when it was last touched. So what does it mean, work that was last touched? It could mean that a customer commented on the ticket. It can mean you as the fulfiller commented on the ticket. It can mean the status of the ticket changed. So basically anything that has touched that ticket makes it show up in this report, and it's considered it was last touched. Then moving along to the work aging, this shows active work based on its age. So it might be easier for me to explain when I actually demo this, but let's see. It shows, actually, I think I might save it till I demo it. Is that okay? Casey, do you want anything there? Or do you think the demo would do it justice? Or?
Yeah, it's just today minus the creation date.
Today minus the creation date. Okay.
Would be the age of the ticket.
Okay.
So same day would be 0, you know.
Okay.
So it just shows you how old your tickets are.
Okay. And then I said there might be some reports that look familiar to some of you. And this one, the My Work report, if a lot of you use the operational dashboard, you know there's the My Work and My Group's Work reports on there. The My Work report shows all work that is assigned to you. The reason why we're considering this new is because there are 3 new columns that have been added. So now in this My Work report, there is requested for, caller, and comments and work notes. This report, though, is not going to change the operational dashboard, right? That one will still stay the same. So this was same name, but a little bit different. You can add it manually. And same goes for My Group's work. Kind of the same thing. It shows all of the work assigned to your groups, but there were actually 6 new columns added to this one. And all of these reports include service requests, incidents, tasks, all of it. So it's not just one or the other. All of these reports show both. I'm going to check and see if any questions or comments have come in before I move along. Doesn't look like there is any. All right. So keep it moving here. Okay. So now I am in ServiceNow, and as I said earlier, all of these reports, Casey actually put them all on a dashboard for me, which is great. It's good for demoing purposes. And you can do this too, but I said that you can actually click on some of these reports. So as we know, the active report shows all active tickets in your group. If you click on that number, it'll actually take you out to the list of those. So I had 11. So it'll take you out to the actual list of those tickets. I'm going to back up. The same thing goes for work unassigned. I have one ticket that's unassigned. If I click on it, it'll take you right to the ticket that has not been assigned yet to someone. Priority, if I click on this, it just shows me, yeah, all of the low priority tickets. I thought I added another one. I did. So if I click on the green, it'll take me to that moderate priority ticket. So that's neat. But there's also some filtering options underneath. Actually, if I click on that legend there, it'll take the ticket away and it'll only show the low priority. And if you have high, those obviously will be here as well. If you see this hamburger bun icon up in the right, if you click on that, you can save this report as a picture. So Casey was explaining to me yesterday that people might want to do this, save them so they can compare later on, whatever the case may be. But you can do that. I'm going to scroll down a little bit more, and so we can look at the workload of my groups. So there's a lot you can do with this one, right? We have task count here on the left, the names of the people in the group here on the bottom. If you click on someone's bar, it'll take you to their tickets that they're working on. But you can also do some neat filtering underneath. Try not to go too fast, because is it buffering okay? Okay. You can hover over them and see the actual number of tickets. Down here where it says group by assigned to, you can change it to task type. So now it'll show catalog tasks versus incident tasks. You can, let's see, we'll go through in priority, of course. So we have 10 tickets that are low priority, 1 ticket that's moderate. You can change it over here as well, the stacked by task type, incident, and catalog task. So this is showing we have 1 incident task that's a low priority. We have 9 catalog tasks that are low priority. We have 1 incident task that's a moderate. If you click on the legend here, you can take off catalog and just show incident only. You can do the same thing. Whoop. Vice versa. So this is really neat. And Casey, you developed this one, didn't you?
Yeah, well, it was a team effort.
Team effort. That's right. That's right. Good job, team. This is really cool. So you get the idea, right? Am I missing anything here with this?
No, I think that's
all right.
Helps you keep track of what your group is doing. Helps you keep track of what your group is doing and whatnot. So hopefully everyone finds that useful.
Great. So I'm just going to check the chat box real quick. All right, looks like no questions have come in yet. Okay, keep going. So the work open versus work closed. This graph shows open and closed work trends during the last 2 months. So Casey was explaining to me yesterday that maybe these dips here are the weekends. And you can, there's plot points on here, and you can click on these plot points it'll take you out to the ticket. You can also filter with this as well. Just click on the legends. You can click on a hamburger bun and save as a picture. And again, my graph, I'm sorry, it's not that interesting, but if you have a high volume of tickets, this could be really neat to work with.
Yeah, there's one thing I'd like to mention about this one that's a little odd. Since the system, when you resolve a ticket, it's what's it, three days? I
Yes.
think? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the system will close the ticket 3 days later. So because of that and the way this graph is generated, like it's actually the closed date that you're looking at. So as you can see on the weekends, the green line is, it looks like people are doing work on the weekends, but that's actually the system closing the ticket 3 days later. So that's just the one caveat. There's really no way around that except to do more than one graph. So by overlaying them like that, the dates are, so I just wanted to be transparent and honest about that. But for depending on the time frame and the amount of work you're looking at, you might or might not care about that. So just put that out there.
That's great. Thank you so much. Okay. So moving down here, the work last updated. This graph, it shows it's dividing active work based on when it was last touched. So this could be the last time the ticket was updated. Again, when maybe the customer sent a communication. Anything that has touched the ticket will make it appear in this graph that something has happened to it. So basically, it's showing, let's see, like the state of these tickets. So you can click on same day. So let's see, same day means today, right? Mm-hmm. So it means today 4 tickets were touched and that are associated with your group. If you click on that bar, you can see those 4 tickets. You can back out. You can, let's see, go back here to, what was it, like 2 months or more. There's still 2, let's see, we have 4 tickets that are still open that, what is it saying? They were touched 4 months ago.
Right.
So maybe these need a little attention.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That would be good.
That'd be good. So this is really, really great. It's a nice visual to be able to see what's going on there. And you can hover over the graphs as well. Yeah. And then, of course, it has that really neat filtering feature here at the bottom for task type, priority. That's really great. Anything else on this one, Casey?
Yeah, no, not really. If you put that back on updated,
Mm-hmm.
and then you could set that one to task type.
Mm-hmm.
I think it could be useful to take out the catalog by clicking on the green legend there, because people might not care as much about catalog tasks
Because of the service level agreements, the
yeah.
SLA.
So they might be like, oh, an incident that hasn't been touched in 1 to 2 months is something that I want to know about. But maybe a sort of catalog task that someone's been working on for a while, that's, maybe I want them to be doing work log updates, but it's more important for the incident because the customer might be waiting on that more. So
That's great.
depending on your SLA, yeah.
Awesome. And kind of the same thing, this is a little bit the same, right? The
Yeah.
the work aging of my group. So this will show, maybe there's some stale tickets out there that need to be perhaps maybe even reassigned.
Sure.
But
Closed, reassigned, or
Turn into service requests, maybe.
turn into
it
service
could,
requests.
It could be, yeah, it could be, yeah.
Right.
So it's helping draw attention to that sort of stuff before it becomes a problem, before the customer's knocking at your door, like, hopefully.
That's great. All right. And then the next ones we hear of on the my work list, the last 2, again, this might look familiar. This might look like, hey, that's that operational dashboard that I always look at. But again, it has these new columns added here. I think when we went live, a lot of people thought, maybe I won't use operational dashboard because it's missing some things that I'd like. So the reporting team updated this and added some extra columns here. The requested for, which is again related to service requests, is the customer of a service request, caller, is the customer related to an incident. And then it's really neat. There's the comments and work notes added right there, so you can keep up with those. And same thing with the My Groups work. They added 6 more columns to this. And I think, and there's some extra filtering down here, right?
Oh, you're right at the bottom there. You can group it. If you do group by assigned to, for instance, I mean, you can pick any of them, but that one's sort of illustrative. And then you have to scroll back up, unfortunately.
Oops.
Now it shows the numbers next to the people, and then you can like click the little arrow thing and it pops down their name. So you can see like the workload even there for your team, you know, to see, including the unassigned one at the top there, but that says empty with the 1 next to it. So maybe you want to go in there and assign that to someone or look at it or whatever. So,
oops.
Also, I want to give a shout out to Jonathan Fish, who helped me with these reports. And credit where credit's due, you know.
Thank you, Jonathan. All right.
That's very cool.
Yeah, these are great.
I'm going to use that. Yeah.
So I have a comment come in here. So the question is, if you are currently using the operational dashboard, how do you get the updates you are showing? Oh, great segue. I'm about to show you that now. So, and let me know if I don't answer this the way I think you're asking is, I'm going to now show you how to find these 9 reports and how to add them to one of your dashboards. You can't add one of these reports to a dashboard that was created by somebody else, or you can't add the aging report to the operational dashboard, but you can add them to a dashboard that you've created. So I'm going to demo that here real quick. And just so y'all know, if you've seen my webinars before, especially the one on dashboards, I kind of have a naming convention that's all fruit. So nothing fancy. I'm not trying to be silly, but it just kind of makes it easy. So here we go. So this is how you can add reports to a dashboard. In your filter navigator, type in reports. And you have some options come up here on your left. If you click view run, now you're on the reports page. Go to global. And as you can see, there's a bunch of reports here. But today we're specifically looking for those new UNC reports. And down here at the bottom, you see this is, let's see, it goes up to 775. That's quite a bit. So let's utilize that search box, shall we? I'm going to type in UNC and enter. And now these are those 9 reports we are talking about today. So let's go with the My Groups work. Let's look at that one. So if you just click on it, then you can go over here to this icon up at the top. It says sharing. It also says sharing down here on the left. Sometimes it won't say share right off the bat. It will say next. If you click next, then it'll take you to share. But let's just keep it easy. The quickest way to do this is this icon here up at the top right. When you click that, a window slides open and it says add to dashboard. So if you go ahead and click that, you have dashboard and it'll bring up all of the dashboards that you have created. I want to add this to my orange dashboard, which I know right now is just an empty dashboard. So it's waiting for some reports to be added. So I click orange and click add. Now it didn't bump me out to that orange dashboard. Sometimes it will, sometimes it doesn't. Just wanted to make you aware of that. If it doesn't bump you out to that dashboard you just added it to, you can go back to your dashboards. I'll do it by clicking on the home button. So what I'm doing is I'm navigating to my orange dashboard so I can add that report. And change my dashboard here by clicking this drop down arrow. This is showing my recents. So luckily I was messing around with the orange dashboard recently. And to add reports, click on the plus button. So now it's giving you this container, this widget, and This?
You can change that to reports.
Actually, I did it from
Oh,
favorites, yeah.
sorry.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
Sorry.
When I've been adding these reports, as you can tell, I've been playing around with this for a while. It goes to favorites.
Oh, I see.
That's
Okay.
that's been my experience.
Right, okay.
We were joking about that earlier.
Yeah, it looks a little different on mine, so that's.
Yeah, Casey has high-level admin access, so we were finding that things work a little different, right? So I was wanting to add my group's work. Here we go. So if I click on that and click add, now I have it. If I wanted to add that other report, just the my work, I can go back to view run, again, global, and type in UNC in the search. That'll bring up all these 9 new reports here. And I'll click on my work. Click on the share. Add to dashboard. I'm gonna stick with orange. I could add it to any other one that I have made. Sorry, my computer's being a little slow. Okay. And I'll see, look, it just bumped me out. Okay.
Yeah, and it added it, right? So,
And it added right to here.
so it acts a little different sometimes.
It does.
That's what we should discover. So
Because,
heads up for that.
did you notice, and I just have to call it out, I mean, I'm not trying to hide anything, but when I was on orange a second ago, unassigned work of my groups was not a report I chose. It just somehow magically appeared there. Did y'all see that?
Right.
Because it was blank and I added my group's work and I just added my work, and I don't know, maybe I had really supersonic fingers and added another one. I don't know what happened there. I apologize. It probably.
We were saying that it's definitely, we're still trying to figure out how it's behaving. And so if you guys start using these, we would love to hear your experience on Teams. If you can post on Teams and say, we think it's I think it's working this way, or I've noticed this about it, then we can kind of build that into our knowledge base. And as we write this stuff up and do future webinars, we can know how it really works on a detail level, because it's definitely acting a little unexpectedly at times.
Yes. Okay. So any other questions on how you can add a report to a dashboard? I'm happy to demo it again, or we think we're set.
Well, I think another thing is you can resize the reports.
Yes.
If you click on the little plus thing, people might want to.
Yep. So with your dashboard, the ones that you have created, if you want to customize it a bit, to put it in edit mode, go back and click that plus button. I'm going to X out of this part here. Anyway, actually, I don't have to X out of that. By clicking this plus button, now it's putting these reports in edit mode. And if you want to resize, you can click and drag right here. You can go over on the top right icon, which is configuration, and you can choose a different configuration. Looks like I have a lot. Yeah, and you can resize here as well. You can make this bigger. That's not very good, but get the idea. And we actually did, I think it was our first webinar, I think we touched on dashboards and the basics of it as far as resizing and configuration. Yeah, how to create one. Yeah. Reminders are always good.
Because they're not going to come up like I didn't make them in, I can't make them in some way where they'll come up a certain way on your dashboard. You have to kind of decide about how you want them to be.
You consume the dashboard or the report and kind of make it your own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that way.
Okay, so can you download these reports?
I'm not sure what that means.
So,
Like export to Excel?
yeah, yes, you can. Let me go back to a cleaner looking dashboard here.
I mean, we could download them as the JPEG. We'd show that. That's
Yeah.
as a picture. I know that.
I thought, did I see somewhere you could do it as a PDF? You
Yeah.
can.
Yeah. Or at the is it the whole dashboard
I
or?
think it's the individual report.
Okay.
If I remember correctly.
Let me go back over here to view and run reports.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where, yeah, we do it from. So I'm going to go back over to global, type in UNC. I'll do the aging one.
Under the share thing? I can't-
Yes,
Yeah, there it
export to
is.
PDF. That's where
So
you
that would
go.
be like you're going to email it to your boss or put it in a folder to archive it or something like that, because the reports are live and they'll change over time and you might want to take a snapshot. Is that the
Is that the use case?
yeah, the
for-
question you were asking?
Yeah.
And Brenda also said you can download the data from a list view.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So if, say you click on the one that shows the assigned to your groups, just the big number. Once you open up that list view, you can export that in a couple of different ways.
Yes. So I'll demo that here real quick as well. Let me get out of that. Go back up to a dashboard.
These are good questions.
Yeah, great questions. So I'll click on active work. Now it takes us into this list view, and you can,
If you right click on, I think you can do it there. I think you can do it from the hamburger. There's a few different places. Nope.
Oh,
just
is it the
kidding.
gear? I think it's the,
Right click on one of the header.
oh yes.
oh, yes. I have
That's
it.
right.
That's it.
Wow, it's been a while. So if you click on actually any of the headers on your list view,
Right click or?
yep, right click, and it says export, and it'll export the entire list.
Yeah.
Yep, thank you for that. So I'm gonna go back and make sure we're answering these questions. Hopefully, Alan, I answered yours. If not, let me know. I'm gonna go ahead then and move on along to the delegation function. So delegation function is actually really neat. It's kind of like an away, not an away message, but say you're going on vacation for 2-3 weeks, a day, whatever the case may be. And okay, great, super helpful, excellent. And let's say, and this will never happen in a million years, that I'm going on vacation for 2 weeks and I'm going to make Anita Collins my delegate. It would be the other way around, really, but I'm talking right now. I'm just kidding. So how I would do that, how to make someone a delegate, and all that means is your delegate can respond to your tickets. They'll get notifications, they'll be able to fulfill tickets that would have been assigned to you. So to do that, up on the top right, if you click on your name and then click on profile, you'll see down here at the bottom it says delegates and new. So I'm going to click on new, and we'll make Anita Collins the delegate. Anita is my boss, by the way. That's why I keep giggling. People didn't know. So now Anita is the delegate, which means she can fulfill tickets that are assigned to me. And it'll start today, but I can change that. And it's going to end, looks like January 1st of 2100. But I'll be back before then. So I'm going to change this. That trip to Mars is going to get cut short. So I am going to change this to, let's say, November 5th, 2019. And I'm going to give it a time as well. And I have learned just this morning, if I put in 8:00 a.m. for that date, and I click submit, it's giving me this invalid date error. And I said, well, it looks right to me. But actually what it's missing is in the time stamp portion of it, it wants a 2 and 2. So even though it's 8:00, we want 08 a.m. and we'll submit that. Well.
Does it want a space between the number in the AM.
Yeah, probably. There we go.
Maybe using the
There we go. Thank you, Anita. I was close. So now it shows down here that Anita is a delegate. I also had someone else on my team, as I was testing this earlier, act as a delegate. And it was, say when they're done being your delegate, instead of just deleting them, this is a way you can keep track of who you've made a delegate and from what time frame. So that's how that works. Also, actually, let me bump back here for a second. I don't think I talked about the different options over here as you're assigning your delegate. So they can do approvals, assignments, which just means being able to fulfill the ticket, notifications, and meeting invitations, which I don't know that much about.
change requests.
Change requests.
If you are the person doing the change, that gets added to your calendar.
Okay.
You would get that too.
Oh, cool.
Interesting. So I'm going to,
So I would say make sure you definitely keep CC notifications and assignments turned on if you are actually asking somebody to be a delegate. 'Cause
okay,
you definitely want them to get those notifications.
right.
Yeah.
And what does that mean for you as a delegate? So this means when I'm gone, Anita, and a ticket gets assigned to me, Rebecca, Anita will get an email when let me back up here. When a ticket is assigned to me and I'm gone and Anita's the delegate, she will get an email notification saying a ticket has been assigned to you. When she looks at her dashboard or the ticket, it will still say assigned to Rebecca, but it'll be under her, my work. So that took me a minute to understand. So not sure if anybody else will have the same hurdle that I had understanding that, because I said, well, why does it still say my name if it's assigned to you? But the big thing is, yes, it's assigned to me, but it's under my work.
Yeah.
Please type in the chat box if that makes no sense, because I'll try it again.
Well, it doesn't change who the ticket's assigned to. So it's still
Correct.
Rebecca's ticket, but I will have an easy way to see it because it will be in my list of assignments like all my other list of assignments. So it's
Right.
easy for me to see. I don't have to search for it or go out and see
Right.
what Rebecca's tickets are. I can just go into my normal day-to-day work, and your work will be in there with mine.
Right. So I just pulled up, and this is my dashboard, but operational, my work. But let's just say this was Anita's. This ticket right here, all of these would say Anita Collins, and this one would say Rebecca Jones, but it's still under her work.
Yeah.
So that's how you know that's one of those delegated tickets.
It's also a really good indication of, oh, I've been delegated. If somebody happened to forget that they should have told you that,
Yeah.
you would know by seeing that it's assigned to another person in your work.
We do recommend you tell people that because it's a little confusing, because when you get the notification, it says this ticket has been assigned to you, but then when you go look at it, it'll say it's assigned to Rebecca, for example. So do give people a heads up in advance if you're going to delegate to them.
And a question came in from Jason. Is there any way for a manager supervisor to set a delegate for someone who is unexpectedly, or they forgot to set a delegate who is out unexpectedly? I'm sorry.
That's a really good question.
I do not believe there's a way for a manager to delegate on behalf of someone. If that scenario came up, I would just say send a ticket to the ServiceNow team, and we could do that on behalf of someone if need be.
Great. Okay. So I guess my explanation kind of worked, because no one said, what are you talking about in the chat box? Great. So that is delegate, neat feature. And with that, I think I'm set. I'll be quiet now. But Anita, you had a couple announcements maybe about reports and sharing, and so I'll turn it back over to you.
Please go ahead and type any general questions that you have. But in the meantime, we do have good news for those of you who create reports and have asked about sharing them with your group. There is a service request that should be in the next Thursday's release that will allow you to ask for a report to be shared. And it's kind of neat because no one has to act on that request. As soon as you submit that request, it actually shares the report automatically behind the scenes. So that's cool. So look for that in next Thursday's release. And as usual, we'll send our release notes and let you know how to do that and how that works. I think that was my only announcement, right, Rebecca?
I think so. Anything about the...
Oh, that's true. So we did want to talk a little bit, very briefly, about there's an upgrade coming, and it's off in the distance, but we're just giving you kind of a heads up that there's a new interface coming with that upgrade. So we're targeting the upgrade for next spring, being very vague because we're still working that out. Yeah, but next spring. But the new interface, or it's like a new home screen, and kind of generally, it just how you work in ServiceNow will be a little bit different. But we have some people who are doing some testing early, and they really like it. There's some really nice things about it. Rebecca has seen a sneak preview as well.
Yeah. So
it's one of the things we hear a lot about the current way of working in ServiceNow. It's kind of a pain to jump when you're working with service requests, to jump between task and the item, or RITM as we call it sometimes, and the request, and going back and forth is kind of a pain. But in the new interface, they'll be on tab, so it's easy to kind of click between whichever one you need to work with. So it's easier to communicate with the customer that way.
You can keep multiple tabs open too. So if you're bouncing back and forth between updating additional comments in a task, but you're also working on an incident, you can do that much more easily in the new interface.
Yeah. One other thing that I think you guys will like is that you won't have to go out to the portal to create a service request. So you don't have to go to help.unc.edu. If you need to create a service request, you can create it right from where you're working in the fulfiller view. So that's another thing that people have liked so far. So we'll definitely be communicating more. We just want to kind of raise awareness that this is coming, just as we're getting used to the current interface, where it's going to change, but hopefully it'll be a lot of positives, and it'll be something that you're excited about. And we'll do webinars and training as we run up to it, probably closer to, late spring. We'll start more hands-on training and communication. So
excellent. And it looks like no other questions have come in to the chat. So I guess we'll wrap it up. And if you do have a last minute question, we'll keep it open for another second.
So one shout out, we have office hours on site at the undergraduate library.
1 to 3 p.m. today.
1 to 3. We have candy, we have buttons.
Ooh.
Good conversation.
Always.
Friendly faces.
1 to 3 office hours. Where? Undergraduate library?
Undergraduate library. Is it Margaritaville? I think it's is the room.
I'm going to post to Teams about it around 11:30, but it is in room 13. So it's one of the conference rooms inside the service desk.
Yeah. And also we have hands-on training. And so we've been getting really positive feedback from the people who come to the classes. And it's very much for anyone who wants to come. People who have been using it for a while have said that it's useful because when you're first, it just gives you tips and tricks that you may not have been able to pick up on when you're first learning everything, and it's kind of maybe a little overwhelming. So come even though you're an experienced user, and then if you know somebody who's just starting to use ServiceNow, it's definitely for people who are just getting into the system. So please come to the hands-on training. You can find out about it on the events calendar on the ServiceNow website.
And there's 5 spots open for November.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Yeah,
that's good. Actually.
Yeah, because there's one session, I think it's November 12th, and there's still 5 spots open.
Okay.
Yeah, so if anybody's interested, love to have you.
I guess we should maybe plug that we're doing presentations.
Oh,
right.
CTC
that's right.
retreat.
Yeah. So come out to CTC. There's a whole track on ServiceNow.
Yep.
Allison will be taking the lead on
We'll have
that.
3 sessions covering different topics within ServiceNow. One of the sessions is kind of going to cover 2 different sessions, but we'll break them up enough so that if people can't join for two sessions back to back, they'll at least be able to get some good content from just joining one. And then our 3rd session is just going to be a open Q&A, talking a little bit about what's coming next for ServiceNow.
I know that I've seen a sneak preview that for those of you who do reporting or who want to dig deeper into tailoring your notifications, there's a session on tables that Allison's doing. That looks really good.
Tables are very important for reports and list views and notifications. So we're going to talk a little bit about that.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. See you next time.
Bye. And thanks again, Casey.
Yeah, thank you, Casey. That was awesome.
Ooh,